the Canik METE. Let's check it out. Canik has really built a reputation for their TP and their TP9SF series. This is the METE. It's one of the newest models. There's a lot of cool features over many of the Canik pistols. Canik started about 20 years ago being in the aerospace industry. They've worked with Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Airbus, and then they got into the small arms. With that, they have produced a really high quality handgun, but yet it's a very reasonable price. 60,000 round torture test and still retains the NATO accuracy standards. So these pistols all of my experience, have been very reliable. I mean, they have just been excellent. And again, the price has really made these very popular. These are made in Turkey, and they are called Canik in Turkey, but here in the US we call them Canik. Now this is the METE SFT, which is a standard full-size pistol. But they're also introducing a long slide version as the SFX. Now Canik started working with Century Arms back in 2012, and we really appreciate Century Arms for sending the SFT and the SFX for this review. The Canik METE. This is an SF version, which there are a number of Canik pistols that are in the SF line. And that means special forces, but this is a polymer frame striker fire pistol. It's single action. Now METE means brave or gallant. And one of the things about Canik is that they are very responsive to the market. I mean, they have made changes for the past few years, and they have a number of different models. This is the SFT, which is the standard version. It's a full-size pistol. It has a right at a 4.5 inch barrel. I believe it's 4.46 inches. With the METE FSX, this is a 5.2 inch barrel. The biggest difference between these two pistols is the slide length and the barrel length. And we'll kind of get into that in a second. But let's go ahead and make sure the gun's unloaded. We're going to drop our 18 round magazine. Chamber's clear. It also comes with a 20 round magazine, which we have here, and it has a little bit of an extension on the base plate. And the chamber's empty. Now these are Metgar mags, really good quality. You've got your witness holes, and of course the big difference is with the 20 rounder you get an extension. With the 18 rounder it's more of a flush fit. These mags will interchange with either one. In fact, when you get either pistol, you get a 20 rounder and an 18 rounder. Nice two-tone with the FDE in the frame, and of course the black nitride finish. If you get any colors with the Canik line, you'll have a black nitride finish with a Cerakote finish on top. So that really gives it a lot of durability. One of the big things about this pistol in particular is that it has optics ready plates or RMR cuts already into the slide. One of the things I really love about this, and we'll look at it later, is before they had these aluminum spacers that they would use to mount optics. They've done away with that, and they have a very thin polymer plate, which I really like. It does fit the Shield RMS or the Trijicon RMR CC. But one great thing is the sight is retained in the back. So when you take the plate off, you still retain your rear sight. It is a 2-dot sight. It's metal and a front white dot at the front. And this is dovetailed in. There are a number of different sight options that you can get for the Caniks. Now here we have the SF Elite. And they're very similar pistols in a lot of ways, but there are a lot of differences. And then we have just the standard SF, which really started the whole thing. But there were some upgrades with the Elite from the original SF. So we're going to kind of compare it more with the SF Elite. First off, if you look at the Picatinny rails, they are definitely deeper, and they're going to allow for a little better fitting with your lights, lasers, any kind of accessories you put on here. You do have front and rear cocking serrations, which are retained in both. One thing though that's big to me is that right here at the grip, this has been relieved. And so where the beaver tail comes up, you're going to have less dimension here, less width, and it's going to ride in your hand better. One of the things about the original, and you can see it is a little bit thicker here, is that right here at your knuckle, it can wear on your knuckle. So I was really glad to see them trim this down to make it easier, especially for those with larger hands. But it gives you a really good feel to it. Another thing they've done is they've increased the texturing here, so it's a little more aggressive. It's a laser etch texturing. Back at the back we have pyramids, but at the front where we have pyramids with the Elite, we have the laser texturing right here. Gives it a lot more gripability with the pistol. Another thing you're going to notice is that we have our trigger guard, which it's been relieved here and of course right here. This is going to allow you to get a really high ride on the grip, and this is going to allow your support hand to get more of a natural point of aim. Here it just rounds off, and yet it still has ample room for gloved hands. The front does have texturing as well on both. Now it does have these little small pads to put your finger, and just little memory pads. This has made in Turkey on this side, but then on the other side it has that laser texturing. This has it on both sides, but it also has this small little cutout. I'm not really sure if there's any purpose for that, but that is one thing. Also, the slide stops. If you look, you'll notice that the new models are very thin down. Here they kind of stick out a lot more, and it's a little bit easier to engage that on that last round if you ride your thumbs up too high. This is going to be a little more difficult, and it makes the pistol a little bit more thin, which I really like. And of course you see that there are no optics plate on the Elite, but they do make a number of different models with the RMR cuts. They went away from the worn tactical sights that have a slope here to more of an angle, so you can get one-handed reloads on your belt, your boot, on a table, and I really like that for a self-defense pistol. The frame has been flared here at the magwell, so you have a little bit of a natural flare. Here with the original, it's just flush with the magazine. So this is going to allow you to be able to get those magazines in a little bit quicker. You can see that it's beveled, and then it does extend a little bit. But not only that, it also gives you a little bit of surface here to make your hand fit closer to the trigger guard. And that way you're going to get a really high ride on the pistol. And so this is definitely something that I like. Now we're going to look at some other accessories that they're making for these, and they do have a magwell addition that you can put on here. So if this isn't enough, you can build that up, especially for competitive shooters. Now the one thing about the SF Elite is it's a little bit smaller than your standard SF model, and it's the same here. It's just a touch shorter right here, and it's 15+1 in the grip, so you're getting a little extra round capacity as well. The serrations are nice, easy to grab. Even on the front, and of course they are abbreviated at the front, but the way they're spaced out, it actually makes it fairly easy to get. I know a lot of different pistols that have these abbreviated serrations. Makes it a little more difficult. You do have a little bit coming up on this part of the slide, but down here is where you can just really grab it, do press checks, or you can actually rack the slide like that. Now while this is a match grade barrel, black nitride, it is cold hammer forged. It's also button rifled. So it's not the polygonal grooves, so you can actually shoot lead reloads through this without any problem. Now the mag release is checkered, and it is steel and is somewhat raised. It's really easy to get those magazines out. I mean, they just fly out. And then again, with that bevel, able to put them in really quickly. A couple of things that differentiate the METE SFT. You have lightning cuts all the way here on the slide. The barrel is not ported, and then of course it extends out somewhat. There are lightning cuts underneath. But honestly, pretty much that's it. I mean, this is exactly the same pistol, just a little bit longer slide and barrel and those lightning cuts. But it does make a pretty good difference at the range. And so when we took these out and shot them, I mean, with a longer slide, you have more slide mass, but it comes back on your hand. You're getting a longer barrel, so you're able to get more velocity, and 2, you have a longer sight radius. So there are some advantages to the longer slide, especially for competitive shooters or if you're a hunter. The METE SFT, 1 pound, 12.8 ounces. The METE SFX, long slide, 1 pound, 14.2 ounces. Not really a lot of difference in weight. Now there are a number of different safeties on the Canik pistols. This one has the trigger safety right here, which is on most of your polymer frame striker fire pistols. Here you can see that if you don't get onto the safety itself, it's not going to pull the trigger and it won't be able to fire. Then once you get that, see, it will fire. Also, there is a striker block in here, so it is drop safe. Now once the pistol has been cocked, you'll see this little red mark, and this means it's the cocked striker indicator. When you pull the trigger, it disappears into the slide. That does not mean this is a loaded chamber indicator, it just means that your striker is in the ready position. But right here is your loaded chamber indicator, and we're going to take a dummy round, go ahead and put it into the chamber. That little lever will rise up just a touch to where you can feel it. And so this lets you know it's tactile and it's visual, so you can tell that there is a round in the chamber. Now we're going to take a look at the trigger. And Canik has been producing some of the best striker fire triggers on the market. We're going to make sure the gun is unloaded, there's no magazine. As we pull the trigger, there's some take up. We hit a wall, and it is a crisp, tactile break. Reset, right there. It is super fast. Get a little closer look. Come in, a little bit of take up right here. Just a little bit of resistance. Then a nice crisp break. Reset, right there. That is a super fast reset. We're going to check the trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge from Brownells. 3 pounds, 11.5 ounces. 11 pounds, 12 ounces. Now there's a lot of accessories that typically come with Canik, and I really wanted to kind of bring this out first because there are some things here that honestly I was very impressed with. And the first is their holster. Now they typically have a holster, usually it's some kind of Serpa-esque type holster, but this is a Kydex holster. It's made for the belt, for the outside of the waistband, but you can switch these little clips to the other side, and this can also be used as an inside the waistband holster. But it's a really quality holster. You have a retention screw right here. The Kydex is more of an injected molded polymer, and I want you to look at how this is finished out here. I mean, very well done all the way through. In fact, this is a really quality holster. And then it gives you retention, and you can set this to be tighter. I've actually loosened it up some, but it just goes in well, and it fits, and it has that retention locking system. And also you have this punch that comes with it, and one of the things that Canik says is that they've made these pins easier to push through using this tool. In fact, you can break the entire pistol down with only this tool. Also, it comes with one back strap. It comes with 2 optics plates. It does come with this little speed loader. And this is a really nice speed loader. So you can take it, put your rounds in. I mean, this makes it really easy to load. And when you're getting those 18 to 20 round magazines, having a nice little speed loader like this helps. Now this was unusual, and it took me a few minutes to figure this out, but this is a little tool kit. Inside, you have bits, you have your screws for your RMRs or whatever you're going to use, and then you're able to attach this like this as a driver, so you can use this as a tool. And I thought this was a pretty cool way to be able to include these tools in here, and they all just fit right into the bottom of this little miniature gun or miniature Canik. Then it just slides right over and keeps it solid. And it also comes with a cleaning kit. Now this is the one that was included with this particular kit. This may not be the kit that they're including with it. In fact, I think it's a little bit more of an upgrade. But it's made by Otis, and I know they have worked with Century before on some other kits. And so we'll see how the kit comes out. This, of course, was a early launch, so they sent a couple of extra things. And honestly, we're going to be looking at that because I want to show you some of the things that are available for the Canik pistols. And of course, you get your lock. And I want to thank Fiocchi for sponsoring the ammo, all made right here in the USA, one of the largest manufacturers of ammunition in the country. But Century Arms also sent some of their Red Army Standard, and so we're going to be shooting it as well. And we really appreciate Century Arms for sending this. And we're testing out the new loader. And so this is really great, especially when you get down to those last few rounds. Not a bad little loader. Now when it comes to shooting the Canik pistols, the design is really taken from the original Walther P99, which was an excellent firearm, replaced by the PPQ. But then they completely changed everything over time. But the one thing about it, the pistol just shoots really well. It's well designed. One of the things I really noticed is this undercut on the trigger guard definitely helped my natural point of aim. And you know, you have that undercut under the trigger, and so when you bring that support hand in, it definitely makes a difference. The sights are excellent on these. The grip, I really like that front texturing over just the pyramids. I think it gives you a little more confidence when you're shooting. The gun just shoots extremely well. We had no malfunctions whatsoever. It's a Canik SF, and it has some upgrades. Now when it came to the long slide, there's definitely a difference when shooting it. There's more mass when it comes to the slide. And so while it comes back and you feel a little bit more coming back to you, it seems to rest just right and get back on target. And it does actually seem to shoot flatter. Just with that longer slide, you got a longer barrel, you're gonna have more velocity and you're gonna have longer sight radius. So it's gonna be a little bit better for more distant shooting and more for competitive shooting, in my opinion. One of the big things though that was this grip right here at the beaver tail. It definitely helps because if you shoot Caniks a lot, especially if you have larger hands, this will wear on your knuckle, especially right here at your thumb. But with this new design, it just seems to nestle in a little bit better. With that flared mag well, it definitely helps get those magazines, just slide them right in. And then of course you can add an extended mag well that'll make it even easier. But I would delegate that more toward competitive shooting. We didn't get a chance to shoot with the red dot sights. We will be doing that coming up. The great thing is it gives you choices. And again, we live in the golden age of firearms, guys. And if you can't find the pistol that's just right for you, you're just not looking. Now for disassembly, drop your magazine, check to make sure the gun is unloaded. Then we're going to pull the trigger, pull back on the slide about 1/8 of an inch, pull down on your takedown tabs. Now you just move it forward a little bit and then the slide comes right off. And it doesn't come all the way forward. And it corresponds with notches in your slide. We have our recoil spring and guide rod. It is captive and it is steel. And then here we have the barrel. One of the things that I've noticed, this is almost identical to the SF, but there are some relief holes here. This is for your optics plate to be able to take it on and off. Then also there are some relief cuts here at the back of the slide that just lighten it up just a little bit. That just means less mass is coming back when you're firing the pistol. You can see, I mean, it is very well done. The machining is beautiful. And that black nitride really holds up well. Here with the frame, same thing. You know, it's just like, honestly, like most of your Canik SF pistols and a lot of other striker fire pistols. And guys, that's all you need to do to field strip for reassembly. Just bring in your barrel, recoil spring and guide rod. Now again, what we're going to do, there's some notches here and I'm going to line them up with these front notches. It goes like this and then it's on. Really easy to reassemble and to disassemble. Now, some of the additional accessories from Canik, it does have a mag pouch, and so this is from Canik. It does fit the magazines very well. There's also available a holster that will fit for your weapons light. And they did send one of the PL Minis from Olight, and I thought this was actually a pretty cool addition. They sent the holster as well, fits right in, and it's got good retention. And so it's going to be a great option. Also, they do have threaded barrels available, and these fit all the different Canik models according to the slide size. It is 1/2 by 28 threads. And one of the things about the Canik barrels is they are cold hammer forged. So they're very strong, and they are match grade barrels as well. And it does come with this small little wrench that you're able to take off your thread protector. They also have the additional magazine well. And this just actually fits over like this, and you take a small screw that's in that little toolkit, put it in there, and now you've got an extended mag well. And this just actually covers up the plate. Gives you a little more of a lip here, but it's really just cool, some of the small details that Canik is doing that makes these parts available. This is the potential of your SFX. We have the shield arms RMS on here. We have the Olight Valkyrie PL Pro, and then I have the magwell on here. So I mean, it's really sets this up. Also, we have the threaded barrel, and of course you can put suppressors, compensators, whatever you want to on here. So this gives you a lot of potential. And then again, with your holster system, I mean, Canik has set this up already. So there's a lot of things you can get, and of course these are additional pieces. But that definitely gives you a lot of advantage. But if you want to just go without all that, you can. Now, one thing about the RMS, and I was noticing it, it definitely co-witnesses with the sights. And I can adjust those, but it actually lines up directly with the sights. And that's one of the things I love, is that they're retaining that back sight. Then, of course, if you want to go with your Trijicon RMR CC, that's doable as well. And I like that they are using those micro red dots. It just makes a smaller sight for your pistol. And with this thin slide, it really needs that micro red dot instead of the wider RMRs. And when it comes to price, the manufacturer suggested retail on the SFT is $519. On the SFX, it's $574. But market price will be considerably less, and you can find out when you go to your local gun shop. These are shipping now, so again, these are brand new, but they will be in high demand because the Canik line has been extremely popular. One great thing is they can be serviced here in the US, and they do have all the parts and everything they need, but there is a lifetime warranty on these firearms as well. So guys, one of the things about Canik is they just keep improving their line. I mean, they're really listening to American shooters with a lot of the design features that have appeared on the METE. And so whether you decide on the METE SFX or the SFT, these are two great options. They do carry a lifetime warranty, and parts are available through Century Arms, and also many of the accessories that we've taken a look at. And for the price, I mean, this is a great little firearm. And again, we appreciate Century Arms for sending the SFT and the SFX for this review. And guys, check out the METE series. A lot of options, and really for the money, I mean, they can't be beat. Rubber Dummies is one of the best training tools on the market, and you get a 10% discount using Suit00 when you click the link down in the description. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. That. Now, this particular model is the METE SFT. Okay, is that right? Yeah. with your whatever it is. What is it? Laser etch text. The Laser X. Range time just brought a lot of memories back about shooting Caniks. Get away from me, you freaking gnat. They're very accurate, and so we're gonna take a dummy round. Oh, crap, Ola. Starting to rain again. Number 3. The Canik METE, you ain't got the moxie.